Hi all, welcome to this week's update. It's the 20th of August. This week I'm going to go through the portfolio performance as usual versus the asset classes that we have exposure to, and looking at some of the content as well that I published this week around Cardano and EOS, and they're both pinned on the respective channels on eToro. Have a look at those. I'll also just touch on where my head's at with the crypto market at the moment. So looking at the top line performance at the moment, we're 5.75% up for August, and about 64.48% up for the year. And this has been pretty flat over the week, to be honest, with the stock market stuttering. We've had a good drawdown in our Alibaba position, which is our largest stock position. I'll touch on that in a few minutes. Crypto has generally been pretty static this week, bar a little bit of a breakout this morning, particularly in Cardano. One of the other points I'll call out as well is that there's been a pretty big jump in the amount of copiers I've had. Overall, it's been 20% this week. We've an average risk score of 4 at the moment. I'll go into a little bit more details of why that might be. Naturally, I trade and invest in crypto mainly, so it's very, very low score for that, but there is a reason for that. So just a quick look then at our performance to date versus Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. Bitcoin has obviously been on a good run since it bounced off the 29K mark. Our portfolio has somewhat reflected this, but again, our position is relatively low in Bitcoin now because it's been diversified across a number of the altcoins. The NASDAQ as well has been topsy-turvy really the last few weeks. We've got a fair few positions there that are long-term holds. Nothing new in the last week added there. Nothing really closed out either. I'm just kind of just sitting still while the market sort of figures itself out. And we'll bring in China and Hong Kong now as well. As you can see, it's been a pretty turbulent few months for Chinese stocks and for Hong Kong stocks. There's a lot of uncertainty around Chinese stocks and Hong Kong stocks at the moment, particularly for us. So Baidu and Alibaba are two big positions of mine. From my perspective, the intrinsic value of both companies still stand. I mean, I've done extensive research and analysis on Alibaba, and I'm still very, very bullish long term. I know at the moment it's dropped again, so it dropped yesterday, and I may buy more positions. I'm not sure just yet, but I'm going to see how it goes the next few days. But at $160 a share, it's criminally undervalued in terms of how we look at stocks. Now, there is a huge asterisk point being that it's all well and good that a company looks like that, but if it is so governed by regulation, and obviously being a Chinese company, we got to take that with a pinch of salt also. So there's an element of risk that comes into it. So I'll just touch on the portfolio. As I mentioned, at the moment, Baba and Baidu are my two largest positions. I have plenty of smaller positions in crypto at the moment. The reason being is that I think we're at a crossroads right at the moment, in the short to medium term of what's going to happen. There's been a significant rise from, particularly led by Bitcoin, from 29K up to around 47, 48K, where we've certainly seen position of resistance. And up until then, I took a lot of profits from the mini rally over the previous few weeks. And we're sitting at about, I think we've got about 41.63% of a cash balance. This has helped us get to a risk of 4, which is a risk level I haven't been at for a long time. But what this means is that while we still have exposure to the market, we could continue to go on the bull run, and that's good. And once there's particular confirmation of a bullish divergence, I will get back into the market with more positions. But for right now, I just want to sit back and just see what the market does. I still think that we are due a mini correction after the previous few weeks. Could be wrong, but let's see how that goes. So naturally, there's just under 60% of our capital at play at the moment. This is broken up by 60% of that is in stocks, 34% or thereabouts is in crypto, and then the rest in ETFs. Taking a look at crypto at the moment, this is the breakdown of each of the assets. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Pretty self-explanatory. I do like to have exposure across a number of vaults because they all pump at different times, and therefore we can take profits at different times. What I'm really looking for today is the $600 million expiration of Bitcoin options today. This can mean two things. If there is a significant amount of call options, which would be, people looking to see the price go up. If this is greater than the put options, which is the people who want the price to go down, then we could potentially have an event where, buying pressure, outweighs the selling pressure. And that's what we're sort of seeing it today. We're seeing a lot of people buying today ahead of these options. When I boil it down, anything above 46K is considered bullish if the options at 4 p.m., I believe, GMT, expire that price or above. So, but if it's below that, then we could see some bearish activity. Generally, while the liquidity itself is quite low in the grand scheme of things, it certainly has its impact on the market and how people think, and how people, particularly add positions, whether to be long or whether to be short. So have a look at that today. One of the reasons that there's quite a pump at the moment, that could change very, very quickly. We also need to take into consideration as well, what's happening outside of the crypto marketplace. Keep an eye on what's happening in the markets and in the economy. With a lot of fear, going around at the moment, with unrest in Afghanistan, obviously, a little bit more on inflation with the US, fears of inflation. Keep an eye on what the Fed are saying. And one of the large bull signs for me, when the news is a little bit unpositive or negative and the crypto price is still pumping. So that almost brings us to the end of this week's update. I just wanted to touch quickly on some of the content that I've published this week on eToro. There's a piece on Cardano. Basically what it does, it runs through what Cardano is, some of its properties, some of the reasons why it's worth the value it is. It's very much curated with the idea of being balanced, and I think I've achieved that. I've done the same about a piece on EOS as well. I had earlier in the year I published similar articles, but these are updated from them. The EOS article, it's for some reason it's pinned on the Ethereum page. No problem there, whatever. The information is very relevant. So please go check them out. You can comment on them if it's something that is useful. Just also on YouTube as well, I've had a lot of new subscribers this week, which is great. So I will continue to put out content if that's something that the subscribers look for. Please comment, please like, and let me know what more you want to see from me. And yeah, we'll take it from there. But otherwise, have a great week. and we will talk very soon. Bye bye.